to my face. So had they never said anything, I probably wouldn't have known that people felt that way about my hair. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I Am Patience. And in today's video, I'll be talking about the problem with black hair and how the conversation around it has evolved, but also somewhat stagnant. There's some viewpoints that I just want to talk about and hopefully evolve this conversation beyond where it is. It's not going to be a super deep dive. I think I would say that for another future video. There's just been a lot of negativity in videos going along, and I feel like we sometimes recycle the same conversations every few months. So hopefully this will bring in some new talking points and we can discuss. So with that, let's get straight into it. But before we do, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let's ring the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. So let's get straight into it. Here's the problem with black hair. The first problem is how it's viewed in the world, not just in America, not just in the black community, but all over the world. For centuries, black hair has never been viewed as beautiful. It's not been viewed as luxury or even deserving of luxury. And that's because of the people that the hair grows on. It's not just about the hair texture not being beautiful enough, because you can't objectively say that natural hair is not beautiful, because it is. And it's obviously worthy because that's somebody's God-given hair. But it's also the person who actually grows the hair. People don't find it luxurious, worthy, because for centuries they didn't find black people even to be human. There was the 3/5 Act, where for many years in America, black people were viewed as subhuman and only 3/5 human. So let's take that in and see how the history of that alone has impacted how we have been viewed and how our hair has been viewed throughout history. But it's not just that, it's today. People still don't view natural hair to be beautiful. Instead, they view anything that's the antithesis of that to rather be superior. The good hair comments, are you mixed comments if you have hair that is not as kinky. 4C is so difficult. But let me go further and talk about how we also attribute the negative stereotype we put on black women onto our hair. For example, the strong black woman trope, as well as the bitter black woman, the angry black woman. In a way, let me just put this theory out there because I've not really read a lot of it, but it's something I've just noticed. It's almost like it's being projected onto our hair as well. It's just difficult to deal with. It does everything on its own. It's all over the place. It's uncontrollable. Sounds like the negative tropes that are given towards black women. And that's why I don't like to reinforce this. Unlike people have to do with their hair every day, wash your hair every day or every other day. I'm like, well, if you combine the fact that they spend like 30 minutes to an hour every single day washing their hair, doing their hair, I take a day out of my week to do it, or maybe a day out of 2 weeks to do it. It's not that difficult. So let's not attribute those negative views onto our hair because it does us no good. But let's even move on to the next part, which is the discrimination that has come from years upon years of discrimination of black people. But even today, hair discrimination still exists, so much so that they had to put in the Crown Act. In recent years, in the 2020s, imagine putting an act in the 21st century, not for people to be discriminated against their God-given hair. People ban natural hair, and there's been history of black women being forced to cover their hair in America. But not even just that. Go on YouTube and type in natural hair ban, and you would see girls who were kicked out of school because their natural hair was out. It was said to be distracting to the class. There have been people who have been discriminated against and not put into certain events because of the way their natural hair looks. There's been times when people's hair have been cut. Yeah, children's hair being cut by their teachers because of the way the hair looks. Let me emphasize again that this is somebody's God-given hair. So when I hear of a Christian who doesn't like natural hair, I'm like, well, that's an oxymoron, because we believe that everything God does is good. It's intentional, and we're created in his image and likeness. And if he found that hair befitting of us, who are you to talk about how natural hair isn't good hair? I mean, God found it good enough to put on our heads. But beyond how the other parts of the world and how other people view it, it's also viewed negatively in the black community. We need to admit that sometimes racism is not just an external thing, it's internal in the Black community. And that's why we also have colorism, we have texturism, featureism. Let's not act like light eyes and curly hair is not the compliment. And that's another reason why some Black people get so offended when biracial, mixed race people don't want to identify as Black or fully Black. They want to embrace the entire culture. But instead, they insist that you identify as Black, even though they'll be taking on the positions of Black women. And we've seen this happen on Netflix series, a lot of movies where biracial, mixed race, and sometimes just a drop of Blackness in their ancestry identifies Black, and they get roles portraying Black women. It's the erasure of Black women, and we don't even see it because we're so desperate for biracial, mixed race women and their curly hair to represent the Black community. Remember when needing a perm was an insult? Me as a child growing up with short natural hair for 19 years, you don't understand the insults that I got in middle school and high school. Now, don't take it negatively with it when you were younger, but it's also the adults who joined in. Not to mention that currently I have a silk press, but typically for the rest of the year, I wear my natural hair in its natural state. It's not always been positively received, especially when I started growing my hair back in 2018. There were people who called it names and told me I need to get a haircut, I need to get my hair done. And it's more accepted when it's in its longer form. To even get to that, a lot of people internalize self-hate from adults in their lives who say certain things to them. A lot of kids growing up have self-hate issues, and it's taught by the people who are around them. Because as much as I know texturism, colorism, and a lot of these isms do exist and how certain races of people feel about natural hair, the only people I've openly heard talk negatively about my natural hair were Black people to my face. So had they never said anything, I probably wouldn't have known that people felt that way about my hair. Loud and long in my face. But when they say these things, a lot of it is negative because natural hair is never seen as good enough. It's always too thick, too thin, not voluminous enough, too voluminous, taking up too much space, too nappy. I'm not offended by the word nappy, but I know that a negative connotation is being used as an insult for a lot of people, being called nappy-headed, and mostly use the word kinky to describe my hair. But we've seen a lot of these negative words thrown towards it, not seen as good enough. Because for a lot of people, including Black people, it's never gonna be good enough. It's never gonna be good enough to the hair of other races of people. It's always never going to be superior to waves and weaves and extensions because they just don't think it's good enough. And because it's never seen as good enough, feel like you need to do a lot to it in order to maintain it. A lot of people ask me, oh, how do you take up all that hair? Which is a fair question. I don't take it negatively. But at the end of the day, I don't think we ask a lot of white people with super long hair how they take care of their hair, or Indians or South Asians or even Asian people. People just assume they do. But that's because we've talked openly about how difficult it is. People like to complain about how natural hair products are too expensive. Natural hair, maintaining natural hair is so expensive. But then they have no problem buying a $500 wig and having multiple of it. They have no problem going out and spending hundreds of dollars on bundle. In 2023, I spent less than $300 on my entire hair. And that included getting this silk press. The products are not that expensive. You just have to not be a product junkie, and you have to care about your hair enough to take care of it. It's not that expensive. Maybe if you're doing a lot of elaborate hairstyles, that would be expensive. If you're going to get your hair done every month, that can add up. But so can happen if you have straight hair as a white woman who goes to the salon every 2 to 3 weeks. You're also spending money on your hair. I don't think it's any more expensive than any other type of hair. In fact, most white women who go to the salon frequently, let's say every other week, they get hairstyles that don't last that long. While when you wear box braids, it can last 2 months. I like to do my own mini braids, my mini twists, and take care of my hair by myself. And I like to buy products and use all of them, so I'm not a product junkie. Those are ways that I sustainably protect and preserve and take care of my hair. It's not as much work as sometimes we like to say it is. And I know there are times where I'm about to wash my hair and I spend an hour detangling it. It's a lot. The longer it gets, the more work it is. But so is any other race of hair. Find ways that you can do your hair consistently with lower effort. You can do it. And when you're successfully taking care of your hair and growing it out, you will find that a lot of people accept natural hair more in its longer stays. And I don't think it's just natural hair. I think in general, most people like women with longer hair. Let me explain that. A lot of times when we see beauty and fashion magazines, we see a lot of them have long hair. Long hair is seen as luscious, youthful. So it's in all across the race. Long hair is seen as more feminine and more attributed to youth and beauty. And that is no different for natural hair. And the problem with natural hair in that aspect is that there is shrinkage, and shrinkage is such a real thing. So when that can easily happen, you see a lot of Black women putting effort to elongate their hair, to stretch their hair. But there should be no reason, if I choose to wear it in a shorter state, should I be treated any differently. It shouldn't be seen as any less beautiful. Also, because there was a time when I was in my second year, third year of growing my hair, I was wearing afros, and that's just because that was the length it was. It wasn't as widely accepted as it is when it's its natural state. People were like, what are you gonna do with your hair? Do something with it. Because it wasn't seen as done. It wasn't seen as good enough to go out. It was like you have to do something with it, or it's taking up too much space. And natural hair is also mostly accepted when it is looser, curlier, what would be seen in a racially ambiguous woman or somebody who is mixed race, biracial. You can see that is very true because of the hijacking of the natural hair movement. When the natural hair movement started, it was very saturated with women who had type 4 hair, because that was the hair that was often discriminated against. People who have type 2, type 3 hair, I'm not saying they didn't face any type of discrimination, but it was more so people with kinkier hair. Now, as the natural hair became profitable to corporations, as people were looking for new styles, it became saturated with mixed race and biracial women, and they started getting a lot of views. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the space should not have included them, but I think it was counterproductive for women who, instead of watching people with similar hair textures to them, rather send their support to biracial and mixed race women who had hair that looked nothing like them, hoping that their hair, because of products, will look like that. And that's where a lot of products and a lot of companies stopped sponsoring women who actually were promoting natural hair products, and rather went towards women who would have hair be the certain look they needed to sell their products. A lot of Black women then will talk about how products don't work for them, becoming product hair junkies. In fact, Black women spend the most amount out of any race of people on natural hair. This is even more concerning when you realize that the lowest average household income, or even median household income in America, are Black households. And we spend a big chunk of our disposable income, even if it's disposable, some of them is not disposable income, on luxury goods, goods for hair, clothes, and just a way to physically present and assimilate in the American society, rather than buying hair products that would actually work for them and marketed towards their type of hair. They are looking at women with looser textured hair, and the whole wash and go, defining your curls, the baby hairs, everything just so that your hair can look anything other than what it truly really is meant to look like. And because the look that a lot of women who came to the natural hair community were looking for, they realized their hair just wasn't going to do that, it turned into what I would call the wigification of the natural hair movement. And a lot of women would spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on wigs and lace front wigs as a protective style. So this becomes counterproductive to the whole natural hair movement, where it was supposed to showcase natural hair in everyday settings. And I'm not saying don't protect your hair, but what are you protecting it from? How long are you going to protect it for? And when are we going to see the hair that you're also protecting? There's some women who wear wigs and weaves for 10, 12 months out of the year, talking about protective styles, and we never see your natural hair. And I'm not saying this as a person who's demanding to see your natural hair. I don't care that much. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if that's the case, then why are you going towards hair that looks absolutely nothing like yours? It's not like a lot of women are doing crochet of natural hair as protective styles, or they're wearing kinky coily wigs. They're wearing wigs that looks absolutely nothing like their hair types ever. There's nothing wrong with wearing straight hair. I'm obviously wearing straight hair now, but typically when you see my natural hair out, are we being truthful about these protective hairstyles? Because natural hair is not being showcased enough. Natural hair in its everyday settings should be good enough. It should be shown, it should be worn, it should be appreciated in all shapes. or hair length. One of my biggest problems when it comes to natural hair is it being seen as empowerment or a statement just to wear it. When I straighten my hair, nobody says, oh, you must be a strong, independent Black woman. It doesn't make a statement. It's just me straightening my hair. But when I wear my natural hair out, and I don't really like to put in a ponytail or puffs because it feels uncomfortable after a while, especially when I have a long day ahead of me. I just don't do it. I wear it out the way it is. Stretch stays. But it's seen as a statement. It's seen as something meaning I am very Black movement identified. And I don't get it. Because when did I ever say that? Why are you making assumptions of me? I'm like a 23-year-old girl just trying to live her life. Where do you get all of this from just by me wearing my God-given hair? I know with the civil rights movements, a lot of women were wearing their natural hair and the afro and the empowerment. I don't think you do all that when women are wearing wigs or weaves or have your hair straight, relaxed. I don't know where all these assumptions come from, but please don't put that on me. If those are things that are true to you, great for you. But let's not make assumptions of other people's lives and beliefs just based on the fact that they're wearing their God-given hair out in every sentence. But my biggest problem with natural hair and the discourse that I see, it just makes me realize that natural hair is not loved as much as it should be. Earlier in 2023, I went to a wedding. I wore this beautiful dress that I had made. It was really gorgeous. I mean, you saw the picture if I remember. It was actually a 2-day wedding. And I wore this beautiful dress and I had my natural hair out. And I felt like a princess. I felt so beautiful. And I feel like that way a lot when I have my natural hair out. It's just so sad when I don't think other Black women feel that way. I don't know, I'm kind of getting emotional, but I find it really sad, especially for young Black girls. I hope for a future where we can instill beauty and just let them know how beautiful they are in their natural hair, in their God-given hair, that it is okay to show up in every occasion of your life, whether it's your graduation, your birthday party, wedding, your baby shower, promotion party, your retirement party. All those days are not days that you go get a wig installed. All those days are not days that you hide your natural hair. But you can show up that day and still look beautiful. Natural hair deserves to be loved. Natural hair deserves to be appreciated. People with natural hair deserve to be in high fashion spaces, in elegant spaces. It deserves to be represented in every aspect of our lives. I love my natural hair and I don't feel any pressure to relax it, to keep it straight most of the time, to manipulate it to look like something that it doesn't look like. I switch it up once in a while. But if I had to wear my natural hair every single day for the rest of my life in its natural state, it is good enough. It's not a political statement. It shouldn't bring assumptions onto your life. It is beautiful and it deserves to be loved. And I hope I live long enough to see a time in the future where we rally around and we show up in every important aspect of our lives with our natural hair. So with that, bringing this video to an end. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comment section what you think about this discourse and this video. Let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. And remember to ring the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of the videos that I post. But also remember to watch another one if you enjoyed this. I have like 200 videos on my channel, so you're bound to find something that you would like. And I would recommend that if you've not already watched my rise and fall of natural hair movement, watch it. It was a great video. But then also watch my natural hair journey if you're looking to grow your hair. I go into detail about my 5-year hair growth journey, so enjoy. Again, thank you all so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.